Now we're moving on to Venus-Saturn. The textbook definition of Venus and Saturn in hard aspect combination is separation in love or sorrow in love. And the reason for this is because Venus represents our love life in general, and Saturn is a cold and dry planet that very often represents the negation of the things that we desire. Therefore, when we bring Venus and Saturn together in any hard aspect combination, this can often represent separation in love, sorrow in love, and ultimately it is one of our go-to combinations for divorce. When a person is having Venus and Saturn in hard aspects combination, it can oftentimes create a very transactional relationship within their love life. And within that transaction of love, the actual reality of what love is meant to be and feel like can get lost in translation. So people who have the combination of Venus-Saturn can be people who find themselves in a marriage that feels like it's simply checking off all of the boxes, or they can find themselves in a relationship that feels like it is attending to the needs and the responsibilities that both themselves and their partners have, but it may not necessarily feel as if it's really bringing those people the depth of sweetness and profound, intoxicating pleasure that love is meant to bring. When a person has Venus and Saturn in hard aspects combination, it can sometimes feel like the honey that we associate with love and romance is drying up and turning brittle and being exchanged for something far less sweet and far less delicious. Venus and Saturn in hard aspects combination can sour the pleasure that we're meant to experience from love. And so deep is that experience of having our love life soured that we might simply move into a state of saying, this is just how it's going to be for me in this lifetime. When we have Venus-Saturn in hard aspects combination, we can sometimes even forget what it feels like to be intoxicated by the pleasure and the beauty and the infatuation of being in a loving relationship, because Venus-Saturn is also the combination of boredom in love. But unlike Venus-Uranus, who gets bored in love just as a fact of life, the Venus-Saturn person might be bored in love because their love life is genuinely boring and unstimulating in any of the ways that actually give them a sense of deep pleasure and deep excitement or deep arousal when it comes to the person who they find themselves in partnership with. Another way that Venus and Saturn can manifest is through delaying a person finding their spouse. And very often in the charts of people who are well within their 30s and still haven't been in a relationship with and still haven't found a spouse yet, that can manifest as a result of Venus and Saturn in hard aspect combination. As a matter of fact, the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin is very much the telling of the story of someone who has Venus and Saturn in hard aspect, because Venus and Saturn in hard aspect combination can delay a person from finding the love that they desire, but it can also deny a person altogether from finding deep and lasting romantic connection within this lifetime. Now, positively, when a person finds themselves having Venus and Saturn within their charts, in a chart that otherwise is supportive of love, they may find their lover later within their lives, or they might find a lover who may be substantially older than them. And so these are some of the positive ways that Venus and Saturn can manifest within the chart of a person. Another way that Venus and Saturn in hard aspects can manifest positively is by causing someone to find their lover very early within their lives and causing that to be the only lover that they know within this lifetime. So, very often when we're looking at the charts of people who've been married for 50 or 60 years, those people are oftentimes people who met each other when they were children, and when we hear people saying that type of story as well, that is also a Venus-Saturn story, because Saturn has to do with crystallization, and it also has to do with old age, and Venus has to do with our love life. So very often when a person is having Venus and Saturn in hard aspect combination in a chart that is otherwise supportive of a good love promise within this lifetime, that can manifest as that person having a long and enduring love life with their partner, and that the two of them will grow deep into their elder years together, still in love with each other.